Hey everyone, today we're going to work on an old drill that literally these things were everywhere when I was a kid growing up in the 70s. Everybody had these and you're probably going to recognize them if you're over 40 or 50. So let's look at what we're going to do. So you probably have seen these. I remember these fondly. This is a Craftsman 1970s era. It is a model 315.11360 3/8 inch electric drill. So I picked it up at the flea market for $5 because, you know, everybody wants cordless. Interesting, it's a 2-prong. It did have the key with it. The chuck is frozen. I wasn't able to get it to move, and it looks like it's pretty caked, so it's going to need some work there. The cord looks like it's in good shape, but we're going to inspect it anyway. We'll take it apart and inspect it. Interesting, this front will polish up, I think, pretty nice. But yeah, that's our mission. It looks like it was taken care of, so I expect it's going to work. But that's our mission. Let's get busy. Well, we don't often get these where they're in such good shape. So let's this is the original Craftsman cord, and it is in good shape. So what I'm hoping is we just have to do some maintenance. So let's plug it in. Turn the power on. Let's see what it does. Okay, it's just humming. So it's probably stuck. I'm not going to let that dissuade me. All that means is it's been a long time since it's been taken apart and lubricated. Let's take this top off and let's check the gears, and then we'll clean out the motor with dry lube. And I guess we got to inspect this cord as well, so we'll a lot of screws to inspect the cord, but let me get some screwdrivers and we'll get busy. All right, it is humming, so that means there isn't a connection there, but we're going to check the wiring anyway. Because it's an old cable, and I want to make sure that it's in good shape. Oh, there are a lot of different screws holding this thing together. Kind of placing them in a pattern so I know where they go. All right. Yeah, it's a little dirty inside, but the wire looks excellent. The power cord's excellent. So I'm gonna wipe it down and clean it, and then put it back together. This is gonna be a great one if I can get this thing going, but I don't know. I think maybe the brushes were dirty or something. There's a little rust on here, but I don't think there's gonna be a problem. So let me get some cleaner and I'll be right back. So what I'm going to use is dry lube. This is good for motors and stuff. This thing obviously was around a lot of wood. The guy probably did a lot of carpentry work with it because it's got a lot of wood dust in it. So I'm going to kind of use this. This is safe for motors. But it'll help clean out some of the dust. Okay, now I'm going to oil the rear bearing here. Let me get some oil, I'll be right back. It's a lot cleaner in there now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some oil in here. And what I'm going to use is just 30 weight motor oil. And you don't put a lot in, you don't want it dripping all over the place. You just want enough, since you've got it opened anyway. See that? Make sure you can see that. See the back. Put some in there. And some in this side. And that's all we're doing for this part. We're going to take the front off. Hopefully we can do that. And grease it. Getting any residual dust here. Oh, you know, one thing I am going to do is I'm going to paint the tips of these screws black. They're rusty, and these were black originally. So I'm just using the sandpaper here to take the rust off, and then I'm just painting the screws black. This paint on the screws is dry. So now it's cleaned out. We haven't greased it yet, but I'm gonna plug it in and test it because I think it's gonna turn on now. It was probably just dirty. Plus I want to see that it went back together correctly. Actually sounds great. All right, let's take this front off and see about greasing it. I didn't expect that. It's actually taking the motor out with it. I think I'm gonna have to take the whole thing apart again. Because I'm gonna reset the brushes now. So, now there is the grease. So this is how you do it, but I am gonna have to take the whole thing apart again. I've got to reset the brushes. That is interesting. Oh, that's what I expected. I expected this to stay, but it did not. Okay, that's okay. This grease in here isn't that bad actually, but there's very little of it. Here's a close-up. There's not much grease in there. So we're gonna put some more grease in there. I'm going to put some grease in there, and I got to take this apart. Well, I suppose I should show you. I don't know if you can see in there. Let's see if you can see. Let me take the phone. Don't know if you can see that, but if you look in there, you can actually see. See there? See the brushes? So I gotta take this apart to put the brushes back in place. Not a big deal. Okay, now I gotta put these washers back. So there's the brushes. I've got to get the washers back in place. Got to put the washers back in place here. Brushes have to go around the spindle. Yeah. That's good to go. Really very little grease in here to dig out. Very little. All right, so I picked up this new grease gun, or new for me, at the flea market. A little bit smaller. So I just loaded it with a fresh canister. I'm gonna put some grease in here. I'm gonna put some down in here. All right, we're all greased up. All right, let's test it. Make sure I got everything seated correctly. All right, cleaned the motor. New grease. Let's work on polishing this thing up a little bit. lot of gunk in here that we got to clean out. Let's check this chuck. Was pretty stuck. Get some oil. I'll put some oil around there, oil in here, and some oil down here. There's a lot of wood sawdust and stuff in here. All right. I think we got most of that out. Yeah, I'll get some paper towels. We'll dry this off. We're going to try polishing and cleaning this plastic a bit. And then polishing this. Alright, so we're going to use WD-40 first on this, and a little Scotch-Brite. Not that it really needs it. I think I could just go direct to polish, but we'll do it anyway. It makes it a little faster. It helps clean this stuff. See how it's working right away. This is not in bad shape. I'm going to try to avoid this caution sticker that's up here, but interesting. There's something stuck to this. It already looks a lot better. Now WD-40 can also be used to clean plastics. I don't know how good it'll be at getting paint off of it, But before we use the plastic polish, we could try a little WD-40 on the plastic, but I don't want to get any inside the motor or anything like that. I'll just use the sponge for that. Being very careful to try to not scratch the plastic. Alright. Let's take a rag and apply some fine scratch remover, because there are a lot of scratches on this thing. And this will help polish it up a bit. So this is what I'm using. Novus. You can feel it on the plastic, it's quite abrasive. You can feel it kind of bite in. Alright, I'm gonna see if it'll do anything in there to get that paint out of that. I don't think so, but we'll try. Nah, it's not taking it out. All right, let's try polishing this up a little bit. Wow, it's actually taken a lot off. All right, that's just one coat of polish. So you get that to that. It's a pretty good improvement. All right, so what I used on the plastic, I used Novus Fine Scratch Remover, and on the aluminum, I used light metal polish, and honestly, great results from both. For the white paint that's embedded into that textured handle, I'm gonna try this. I don't have a lot of confidence that this is gonna do it. It'll certainly help, I think, but whoopsie. Oh, it's actually doing it. It is coating it white. Interesting. So here we go. You got white embedded in the handle. Apply some Forever Black, and it's black. Wow, that's pretty cool. Now, how long that'll last is anybody's guess. It certainly looks better. All right, we only have one step left, and that's to clean up the chalk. So because this chalk is black here, I'm actually going to mask it up for the wire brush. This way the wire brush won't scratch up the black. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run the wire brush against the chuck while the drill is actually working. So we're plugged in. So we've preserved the black. And polished up the metal. All right. Not much more to do with this guy. It looks good. This came out nice. We didn't damage the paint. We got the chuck all polished up. We're able to keep the original Craftsman power cord. The key is a little rusty, so maybe I'll drop that in evaporust for a bit. But yeah, so Craftsman, model 315-11360 from probably the 1970s, made in USA, brought back to life and ready to go back to work. That was fun. That was a cool project because when I was a kid, everybody had one of these. My father had one, my grandfather had one. My grandfather also had a Black & Decker drill, which I actually restored in one of the videos. But my uncles, everybody, you know, if you were in a garage or something, they had one of those drills. So to me, they're just a fond memory from 50 years ago. But hey, if you come across one of these, I paid $5. I mean, you can't go wrong. It's a variable speed reversible drill, and it's pretty strong. Let's check. Does it say what it is? It just says 1200 RPMs. That's not bad. Pretty fast, but it doesn't say how many horsepower, but that's not a big deal. By then, I don't think by the 70s they were saying they were half horsepowers or third horsepower drills anymore. But hey, if you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. I've always got more projects like this coming. And if you find one of these, $5, even 10, well worth it. They're pretty easy to work on. Not much can go wrong. And you'll have a great drill in the end, and you'll have a cool relic. So, hey, don't be intimidated. If you want to restore one of these, just go out, get busy. Take care.